but Lou and I will be up here to talk about Dax Hill. We're really excited about him. He's a player that we thought very highly of, surprised he was there for us, and really eager to add him to our team. We think he's been a great weapon for us on defense. You can use him a lot of different ways, and really fired up to get him in the building.
You guys view him more as a cornerback or a safety right away?
He can play a couple different spots. He's a safety. He's played nickel. He's got the athleticism to do a lot of different things. So I think the first thing is just get him in the building, and certainly we have a vision for him internally of how to utilize him. But I think he can just be a tremendous asset for us on defense.
When down the stretch, there was Johnson, Wyatt, Karlaftis, Hill. I mean, you guys had to start feeling pretty good that there was going to be a hell of a player left, and it ended up being Hill. I mean, we pretty satisfied with the way the draft unfolded?
I think Lou was hoping we'd take an offensive player in the first round. But, the way it shook out, we got a pretty good one on defense.
Zach, did the phone ring a lot as you were getting into that pick from teams trying to get back into the bottom of the first?
It always rings. You don't always know what the conversation is. Duke handles that. But ultimately, we stood there and made the pick, and really content to do that with the player that we were going to get.
When you were looking at guys, how much was versatility at the top of your list of things you were looking for, and what kind of separated Dax?
Yeah, it always is, with any position. We feel that way. The more that the player can do, the better off he'll help us as a team. And this guy's no different. He kind of fits that bill to a T. So super excited about him. He can do, as Zach's already mentioned, he can do a number of different things. And, we've used a bunch of 3 safety packages in the past, and we're looking forward to, do a bunch of different things with him. So he's super excited.
How valuable is that to you to have a chess piece that you can kind of move around and have play different roles?
Yeah, I think it's important, the way when you look at offenses these days and the way tight ends are utilized and running backs out of the backfield and, just different things. This guy can, he can blitz off the edge, he can cover, he's good against the run, he's good getting off blocks and things like that. So I think we're getting a good overall football player.
Does his versatility allow you to add just brand new elements to the defense?
Well, I haven't gotten that far yet, but we'll see. We'll get him in here and see what the shiny new toy can do. So we're excited about it.
Any specific games, plays, something that you watched on tape where you thought, wow, this guy's special?
I just think it was his overall play, to be honest. I don't think that it was a flash play here or there. I think his consistency over his career is what stood out to us, me in particular. So, I just like how the guys played at a high level for a long time, and that was intriguing for sure.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Zach, was he a leadership type of guy, and did that come across in your talks with him?
I think everybody at Michigan spoke really highly of him, and they had a tremendous defense this year, and he was a big part of that, combined with some other guys that you've seen go already and some guys that will go in the future. But just think that he really fits the personality we'll want in a locker room. He's about all the right stuff, and just we're really excited to get him here.
Are you a little surprised that he was there, available for 131?
I would say so.
Now, what's your message to Jessie and Vonn? Obviously, they're both in contract years, and you draft a safety in the first round.
Yeah, added a really good player to the room. That's going to help us on defense and help us get back to where we want to go. So I think that the guys on the team understand we're just trying to win football games and add any piece that can do it. And, this guy, like Lou's mentioned, can be a third safety for you, but can also play a lot of different roles for you. So it's not that simple of just a one-position type of guy. This guy can really come in and help us in a lot of different ways in combination with Vonn and Jessie.
Did he fall to 31 in any of your internal mock drafts that you can recall?
Yeah, that's hard to say. Yeah, hard to say.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on the process of when you guys kind of realized he might be the guy that you guys want at 31 through this whole process from the combine on?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a long process that we go through. The Duke and his crew do a phenomenal job, especially this year with us playing as long as we did. So, you start identifying, the top players at each position on down is the way we do it. At least we do it as coaches. And, we saw him immediately, and again, all the versatility that he brings is what stood out. And you're always hoping that the players you like are there, and it's just the way it fell to us tonight. So it was we were super happy.
Are there different traits that you need maybe playing as, I'd say, when you're a safety in the box as opposed to a guy who's playing basically a lot of the field? Are there different traits that you need, and what does Dax, maybe specialize in?
Yeah, I think his measurables are great. You look at what he ran and all those different things. That we're going to chase around two of the toughest quarterbacks in the league this year 4 times. And the more speed we have on the field, the better we'll be. So he lends that. There's certainly going to be a learning curve. There is for every rookie, especially in the back end. We'll give him just enough on his plate to see how much he can handle and kind of take it from there.
Obviously, with the versatility comes intelligence. Is his football IQ up there?
Yeah, every time we met with him and every interview we've had, and Rob Livingston did a great job with that, and just going through it along with, again, all the other guys that have met with him, and so we have no issues there with that.
How much FaceTime did you have? What did he visit? Was it Zooms?
He was one of our guys we met with at the Combine, so he was one of our top 45 interviews. That was the first interaction I had with him. And then over the course of the time, those guys meet with the position coach over time. So we've talked a lot about him, I can tell you that, over the last month particularly. And I'd say we were surprised he was there, happy he was there.
Lou, one thing you said last week, I think, was that you want as many players as possible to be disruptive in the secondary, turn the ball over, and get it back in the hands of Joe and the offense. Is Daxton a big part of that? Can he be?
I think so, yeah. I think that's something that he can bring for sure. And again, it's not just picking balls off or this guy can blitz. He can, sack fumbles, all those different things. So he brings a wide variety of skills that we think can help in that area for sure.
Zach, when you look at just the sheer number of cornerbacks you have on your roster right now, I think most mock drafts had you guys taking a cornerback at 31. Do you guys still feel like there are a lot of good cornerbacks that could maybe be available to you in the 2nd or 3rd round?
We do. And again, just felt like Dax was a premier player that was sitting right there for us and took him. But there's certainly other positions we'll continue to address as the draft goes on.
So where did you, from a consensus standpoint, did you have him like in the 20s? I mean, we're
yeah, we won't get into all that information, but we thought very highly of him.
Yeah.
You can't show us your first round.
Yeah, I'll let Duke. If Duke wants to do that, then you can get Duke down here and he'll show you the whole board.
Zach, what was your reaction to all the wide receiver movement around the league and the priority at that position? That's been a position you prioritized for a while.
Yeah, that was great. To know that we're not taking one in the 1st round and see all those guys start going, that was welcome for us.
Obviously, cornerback has been a focus, like Kelsey mentioned. How does Daxton help that room and help that in general defensively?
Well, I think that's, you get him in the building and see exactly how you can utilize him. We've seen the tape. We've met with him. Certainly talked about things internally. But I think, if Lou's got anything to add on that, but just get him in the building and see where we can go from there.
Is there any possibility that he could play outside? Because you're right, he does have the measurables.
Yeah. Again, as I said before, I just think we get him here, see what he is, see what he's all about. Once you get around these guys and see what they can handle, I think, we'll see. But he definitely brings that versatility. So, we just don't know.
In the first 5 picks were 3 edge guys and 2 corners. Were you thinking, damn, is anybody ever going to take an offensive player? Did you feel like there's going to be a run on receivers and tackles like there was that would even things out?
Well, I mean, the 3 receivers went in a row. They're 10, 11, and 12, so then you get a sense people need them. They're probably going to come get them, and that's what started happening. But again, as you get into the 20s and you get a feel for your board, we knew we were going to get a player that we were very high on.
As the game continues to evolve, especially with the way the passing goes, how does that kind of affect the way that you have to affect, change your scheme and kind of maybe evolve as the passing game evolves as well?
We're still looking at all that stuff, the things we did last year, and we're always looking to evolve and get into the scheme part of it. But, when you add a piece like this, it gives us a little bit, maybe adds a couple of things that maybe we didn't do last year that we possibly can do. So, whether it be scheme or player, you add a heck of a player like this, and maybe it allows you to do some more things. That only time will tell on that.
Does that allow you to be more creative when you got a guy you can feel can play in the box and can play deep as well?
Sure. That again, the flexibility always helps.
Does his versatility and the fact that maybe you're getting 2 positions with 1 pick affect the urgency at all to go get a true corner?
I think that those are needs we'll continue to assess as the draft goes, but I won't tell you what round exactly we're going to address all those spots.
You mentioned his speed, Lou. What about his physicality, his, willingness to stick his nose in there in the run game?
Yeah, he's shown all that, and more. So, and again, a lot of times these days is the perimeter screens that the safeties and the nickel positions have to handle. He's really shown a great knack of getting those guys, beating blocks and getting guys on the ground. So it's not just always fitting in the A or the B gap with the safeties. That's certainly a part of their job, but it's more of the perimeter game. Again, when you add speed like this, it only helps.
When you've got a guy that can play in the box and he's got all the range that he has because of his speed at the safety position, are there any guys in the league comparable that, talent-wise, that he could be this type of guy for us?
I mean, I've coached a bunch of good safeties in the past. They've all had a wide variety of different skill sets. So to label this kid with somebody else, I don't know yet. We'll see who he is, and then we'll kind of go from there. But he certainly has the traits of some of the good ones I've had before.
Zach, I know the combine interviews were a blur because it was 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. It was crazy. Do you remember anything from that, from the meeting with Daxton? Does anything stand out, I guess?
I think he had a very genuine personality and was very confident in the information he was giving us. It's 18 minutes, but in those 18 minutes, he was impressive enough to make a point. If you're giving a guy a plus for just presence in the room, that's one thing you take away from that interview.
Zach, what is that moment like on the phone, knowing that you're getting the opportunity to change somebody's life? What is that moment like for you?
It's good. You want them to be able to, you can hear their family in the background or friends or whoever's there with them. And sometimes you don't get a great sense of the emotion they're going through because they're trying their best to hold it together while they're on the phone with you, and then they kind of release that when they're off the phone. So I try not to keep on it too long because I know that there's a lot of important people in their lives that want to get to them right after that. And so we just give them the information, and then we'll circle back with them again tonight. I know it's late at this point, but in Oklahoma it's only 10:45. But we'll circle back with them and once things calm down and get a chance to get them more information.
When you make a pick like that, do you plan on calling Jessie and talking with him, considering you just addressed that position with the first round?
One thing about our team is throughout all these picks that we've had over the last couple of years, they're always asking for the phone numbers of these guys so they can start to get in touch with them. So, with a lot of the team leaders on the team, that's one thing that's always excited me over the last couple of years is those guys want to reach out to these new players and welcome them to the team. And so those are all conversations that we'll have. And our players will be back in the building on Monday, so we'll expect a good group of them here. It's not mandatory, obviously, but it'll be exciting to get around those guys and get a chance to catch up.
At this point, with this addition, your safety group, it's going to be, I don't know how many around the league are better. You guys have some pretty damn good players at that safety spot now, don't you? As a group?
Yeah, we feel like it, for sure. And then we did coming into it, and then again, you add another great piece like this. So, it's a premium position these days with the way the offenses throw the ball around these days. The more DBs you have, the better. And this, again, I'll say it again, his versatility and flexibility, Dax, that is, just creates more potential good matchups for us.
First-round picks aren't asked to play teams a whole lot, but if he slots at safety 3, corner 4, is that something you would ask of him? And has he have a history on teams?
He's done some stuff in the past in Michigan, and we'll see where that factors in with Darren right now. But we drafted in the first round to help us on defense first, and then we'll see where it fits from there.
Were you throwing to see a fellow Okie?
Yeah, it's it is Booker T, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So they got a great program there, great history of tremendous players in football and basketball coming out of there. I think Robert Meacham was a great football player they had that went to Tennessee, and Eton Thomas, I believe, went to Syracuse, played basketball. So yeah, you want to go Oklahoma history basketball real quick? So.
Is this what we're doing? Is this
no, tremendous program there in Tulsa, though.
You guys teed up Zach about Oklahoma. I mean, what are we doing?
How challenging is it to call plays, and challenging is it for the quarterback to deal with a guy like Daxton Hill that can move all around and play multiple spots on defense? I'm sure it's a challenge for a quarterback to deal with.
Yeah, it is. And again, that goes right into the mix there with Vonn and Jessie. They create issues as well because they're really smart players and they do a great job communicating and disguising. And so you add another piece there that fits in the mold of what those guys have already started getting going for us. It just, again, help us make our defense better.
Well, he obviously brings a lot to the table, but what do you think, or do you anticipate, Lou or Zach, that he'll have to pick up the most and learn at this level?
That's a good question. I think that's a hard one to answer right now, because until you get a player in your building, you can meet with them, for an extensive period of time, and you install our defense and you give him a chance to go against just our offense out the gate. You get a much better sense of how much they need to learn quickly. Obviously, that's stuff we try to gather during the pre-draft process as best we can. Is this guy able to retain information? Does he have a high football IQ? Those answers are yes. Now you get a chance to see him in the fold. Some guys pick it up faster. Some guys take a little bit more time, maybe in a training camp. Neither of those are issues for us, so we'll just see how he fits in once he gets there.
How many different places did Michigan utilize him in tape? When you looked at Michigan State, did you transpose that to your scheme and say, man, this is a perfect fit, or are you going to try to do more things than they used him with in Michigan?
Yeah, I think, as Zach just said, we'll kind of see where he's at when we get him, but they did move him around a bunch, which is great to see. You're always wanting to see evidence on tape of what the player can do.
Right.
And, from nickel to, safety and as I mentioned, as a blitzer and covering tight ends and running backs and all those things. So all that's on tape for us, which was great to see. And then, we can always build from there, which is even better.